Standing before Hoover Dam, you see a concrete wall rising 221 meters high, roughly the height of a 70-story building planted in the Nevada desert. The project was completed in 1936. Nearly 90 years have passed, and chemically speaking, it still isn't finished. That idea sounds counterintuitive. We tend to think concrete dries within days, hardens over a few weeks, and then stops changing. But concrete doesn't dry the way a shirt dries under the sun. It reacts. It builds new structure. Deep inside the Hoover Dam, hydration reactions between cement and water are still occurring at a microscopic scale. Crystals continue to grow, filling tiny gaps between particles. The process moves so slowly that no one stands around waiting to watch it, yet it continues. So when we call concrete artificial stone, we're describing a material that forms gradually over time, not something that freezes instantly into place. To understand this, we need to step into a world of crystals thousands of times smaller than a human hair. When Portland cement mixes with water, key minerals such as alite and belite begin to react. Hydration produces calcium silicate hydrate, often abbreviated as CSH, the primary source of concrete strength. Imagine each grain of cement as a tiny chemical seed. Once it meets water, its surface begins to grow microscopic crystals. These crystals expand in multiple directions, interlocking into a dense and complex network. During the first 24 hours, reactions happen rapidly, and the concrete begins to set. After 7 days, strength may reach around 70% of its design capacity.
Yes, the energy
after 28 days, most structures are considered strong enough to bear loads, yet the reaction doesn't stop at the 8-day mark. It simply slows down. At the micrometer scale, CSH crystals continue filling remaining pores, meaning the internal structure keeps reorganizing. For Hoover Dam, pouring the entire structure as one single mass would have generated so much heat from hydration that the core temperature could have risen high, enough to cause cracking due to thermal stress.
The 28-day milestone is
engineers
complete.
poured the
We've
dam in smaller
load
blocks,
with no deflection.
each equipped with cooling pipes carrying circulating water. About 25 million cubic meters of concrete were used. If it had been cast as one continuous block, estimates suggest it could have taken over a century for the heat to dissipate naturally, roughly the span of 3 or 4 human generations. Seen from this perspective, concrete doesn't simply harden. It undergoes a long process shaped by chemistry and thermodynamics working together. In everyday construction, we're familiar with the idea of curing during the early days. Workers keep the surface moist to prevent rapid water loss. The goal is to maintain enough moisture for hydration to continue. If concrete loses water too early, crystals can't fully develop, leaving a more porous and weaker internal structure. For massive structures like Hoover Dam, the challenge becomes more complex. Heat released from hydration can reach 60–70 degrees Celsius in the core of large concrete blocks. Temperature differences between the core and the surface create thermal stress, which can lead to cracking if not controlled. The solution used in the 1930s involved embedding hundreds of kilometers of thin steel pipes throughout the concrete. Cold water circulated through these pipes to carry heat away. Once temperatures stabilized, the pipes were filled with grout and sealed. This process reveals something important. Time is not merely something to wait through, it is a design parameter. Even today, engineers calculate how strength develops over time. A concrete structure may gain a few additional percentage points of strength years after it has been poured, depending on moisture and temperature conditions. That reality makes the idea of completion in concrete more flexible. A structure may be finished architecturally, yet chemically, it continues to evolve. From hydration chemistry, researchers have begun asking a new question. If crystals can keep growing, could we harness that process to repair cracks? At Delft, University of Technology, a research team experimented with concrete containing dormant bacterial spores. These bacteria remain inactive in the dry environment of concrete. When cracks appear and water seeps in, they become active. With a built-in nutrient source, the bacteria produce calcium carbonate, essentially limestone, which deposits inside the crack and seals the gap. This mechanism doesn't turn concrete into a living organism, but it transforms it into a material system capable of responding to damage. A crack only a few hundred micrometers wide can be sealed within weeks under the right moisture conditions. A few hundred micrometers may sound tiny, yet it's large enough for water and chloride ions to enter and begin corroding steel reinforcement. Reducing that intrusion significantly extends a structure's lifespan. A bridge that lasts 100 years instead of 50 cuts reconstruction cycles in half over the same time span. From Hoover Dam to self-healing concrete. The common thread is clear. Concrete is not a static material. It is an ongoing process. The next time you walk across a concrete bridge or look at a gray wall, remember that deep inside, at scales millions of times smaller than what the eye can see, crystals are still forming, rearranging, and sometimes repairing tiny imperfections. If stories about materials that continue to grow spark your curiosity, there's another question waiting ahead. Could we design cities where building materials improve with time instead of slowly degrading? That answer is being explored every day in materials laboratories around the world.